Good afternoon. Welcome back to Three Swords Gaming. So we're going to continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. But a quick admin note before we begin. So I went back and reviewed a couple of my last videos and realized that for whatever reason the NPC dialogue was exceptionally quiet to the point where it almost could not be heard. And that's super weird because it was already plenty loud enough for me when I was playing through, but apparently wasn't recording loud. So I've turned it way up versus everything else except for cinematics, which I don't recall being a slider before. I think that might be a new slider, actually. Under any circumstances, I tend to keep things pretty quiet so that my voice can be heard over the sound, but I had to turn dialogue volume way up. Now, what I suspect is that means random NPCs are also going to be super loud, so we're going to have to sort out how that goes. But unfortunately, it looks like for however long, open world NPCs have been quiet in my recordings, and I didn't quite realize that. So hopefully that issue's addressed. So where we left off is we have gained our homestead, right? We were sent into Janthir Wilds by the Tyrian Alliance, a new endeavor, a new initiative, if you will, on the part of the various races of Tyria to address the Cryptus, who've actually already been addressed. They didn't know that, though. And any other threats that may arise. And now they have sent us to Janthir Wilds to befriend these Kodan, like that one there, Chortling Millstone, or this one, the Kodan Landspeaker Scout. So they've sent us to befriend these folks. But along the way, the Astral Ward have also said, "Hey, by the way, can you look for this missing bear? We have a bear that's unaccounted for." Turns out the bear's been unaccounted for hundreds of years, but apparently now it's a really big deal. So we're gonna look for this bear. Something Sorrow. I can't even remember her name. So we're supposed to really care about this, but in my opinion, they do a poor job of helping us care. I don't want to say making us care because that would imply that they're like somehow heavy-handed, and I don't want them to be heavy-handed. But I do want them to help us care, and I don't feel like they help us care under any circumstances. So we just finished our homestead, and now we are getting briefed up on the area by Barbed Veil as we continue to explore the Janthir Wilds. Barbed Veil, what's up?
Our paths cross again, Wayfinder.
Indeed.
Welcome to our hunting outpost. Here we prepare game to feed our village, as well as foster wildlife. Take only what can be repaid. That is our motto. Yet the tundra is not so benevolent. Nature's temperament is both nurturing and brutal. Generations spent here have taught us kinship is key to survival. And we lowlands have found no better friend than the journeykin. It'd do you well to spend some time bonding with them. The best friendships are worth the time. In the case of journeykin, it can mean the difference between life and death.
All right, so we've reached a point in the story where we have to do another heart. We got to complete the heart to move forward. That'll happen at least one more time in the story that I specifically recall because I hated it so much. Fortunately, we do already have some progress on this heart. Yeah, these NPCs are all loud as hell now. We do already have some progress at this heart because we already picked up a bunch of poo because I wanted to kind of make a point of showing the poo picking. And now we get to further progress our poo picking prowess. So that's what we're going to do, I guess. But we can also give pets to the Warclaw Cubs. And we can also come over here. Excuse me. I know you're talking to that heart guy. Grab a little meat off the rack of meat, which is I'm pretty sure, an asset that we originally saw, or very similar to an asset that we originally saw in the core game. With the char, like for Meattober, the Meattober Fest. I think that's the same or similar asset. So we'll run around. We'll give some meat to these various Warclaws. It is interesting and it is fun. I think it's cool. I don't have a problem with them, putting forth the development time to develop 3 different models, and I don't know how drastically different they are. But we got like the little tiny cubs here. And then we got like the medium-sized journeykin, like the Warclaw youth over here. And then we got the full-size ones, like there's one over here. I can't tell if one is just a miniature of the other, or if they're actually like completely different models. I don't know that I care that much because it's fun either way. Um, so that's cool. And of course, hey, why don't you shut up, willful son? I'm helping you, and you're over here critiquing me? That's gross, man. Like, how about a little gratitude? Did Coda not teach you that? Well, that's not part of balance. You think that would be a balanced thing, right? Have a little gratitude for people who help you. Apparently not. He's coded. Tell you what. All right, just about done with the heart. Fortunately, this is not one of the hearts. There are several, particularly on the second map, that are pretty punishing. But this isn't one of them. So there we go. We wrapped it up. We'll speak. Oh, and that was a daily too. Oh yeah, and speaking of this, so real quick, not real quack. Although there are ducks in this expansion. So real quick, we're over 1,000 on our Astral Acclaim, which means we can get the Falling Star quest license. Now I'm probably gonna wait on that until I've wrapped the story, and then I'll just do an additional chapter on the story playthrough where we get the spear and the glove. But it is super cool. I'm a big fan. Prevail. I picked up all the poop.
The Journeykin have taken to you. Not surprising. Now, Wayfinder, it is I who seek your aid in taming beasts of this land. Concurrent with your arrival, our council received reports of unidentified creatures roaming the wilds. Strangers among lands, or so we've deemed them.
What do you know about these creatures?
Little more than that they're unknown monsters, never before seen in the area. After some debate, a scouting party was assembled to study their behavior, but as of late, we've lost contact. Upon request, your Malice and Keith have joined our search. So too, I ask your help on behalf of Claw and Council.
I'll convene with Malice and Kaith. Between the three of us, we can cover more ground.
Your alliance is versed in threats of the unknown. Our efforts combined improve chances of shepherding our scouts home. Take heed. A thick fog now rolls across the great tundra. Trust your journeykin to guide you.
Okie dokie. So speaking of developing our relationship with the Journeykin, and trusting our Journeykin, I believe we have advanced the mastery. So let's. Oh, and it has nothing to do with Journeykin actually. Just the same. We will take it. Oh, interesting that it counts for like the crafting level thing. What are we gonna develop next? Are we gonna work on that? I truly do not understand the beehive thing. It's completely lost on me. Yeah, we want to be able to jump in midair. We'll work on some more Journeykin stuff. Okay, one other interesting note, and this actually goes back to before I did the heart, when Barbvale was talking to us. The way she talks about the Journeykin being part of their culture gives the impression that the Warclaws, or Journeykin, have been with them for a long time. This is in this is an established part of their culture, which I find very interesting because it raises the question of like, we only became aware of the Warclaw a few years ago, and of course that's only because ArenaNet developed the Warclaw a few years ago, and of course they had to have an explanation for the Warclaw like within the game, and so they came up with the explanation of like the creatures, these constructs from the mist and everything. But man, the NPCs are loud now. But what we're being presented here suggests that Warclaws have been around for a long time, because while yes, the Journeykin at some point appeared for the Kodan, it was long enough ago that it is a meaningful part of their culture at this point in time. So, kind of an interesting thing to note. All right. Are we already light on our feet? Can we just like take no falling damage? We'll find out. The answer is yes. So with Secrets of the Obscure, there was a separate achievement for getting 1,000 kills on each of the new weapons. So in other words, 9,000 kills across the 9 different weapons to get that achievement. With this expansion, there is a singular achievement for getting 1,000 kills with a spear. I'm super glad, because initially I was looking for the achievement where like you get 1,000 kills with each class.
Over here, Commander.
I'm glad they went this way instead, where you just get 1,000 spear kills to get the achievement, because I did go ahead and pursue those achievements from Soto on my main account, the 1,000 kills with each new class weapon, and that didn't feel good. I don't know why I did it, if I'm being 100% honest. I guess because it was an easy achievement to get. It was just a very time-consuming and annoying one, particularly with a few of the weapons that, while they certainly have their place, like I think there are big fans out there. From what I understand, Mesmer Rifle is overpowered in some areas, or at least very powerful in some areas. But like running around in open world, just killing things, it did not feel particularly powerful. Same thing for Renegade Scepter, also did not feel good. Those were two of the ones that took me the longest, honestly. All right, Keith, what's up?
Any sign of the party?
Nothing yet. With any luck, the scouts got turned around in this fog and simply wandered off course.
The more boots we have on the ground searching, the more likely we are to run into them. Barbed Veil insists the area is free of natural predators. Regardless, let's stay alert.
Okay, so we've been playing Guild Wars 2 long enough to know that they did not just get turned around. Why would Barbed Veil insist this area is free of natural predators when we've been told Janthir Wilds is treacherous and the Val Raven are scooping people up and eating kids' hearts? Ooh, that's weird.
It's not
right?
just a walk in the woods, is it?
Shut up, Keith. I realize it's an exceptionally small thing, to the point of being like truly meaningless. I don't really enjoy the spear very much, if I'm being honest. But it is a little bit weird. I mean, are there natural predators? Like, is this a treacherous place or not? I feel like I've been receiving mixed messages now.
Looks like we've hit a junction.
I'm having trouble getting a consistent read on our location.
What?
Out here, we'll have to rely on your war claw for navigation. See if it can point us in the right direction.
What junction? We're not on a road. There's no intersection. Like, what are you saying? You don't know where to go? Just say you don't know where to go. Like, at this point, I'm literally looking for reasons to dislike Case, honestly. Alright, a pungent smell seeps from the rot pile. This seems rather new. Sure, Commander. I'm not the scat expert, but the Commander is, so sure, man. Given the nearby tracks, it seems to come from east of here. Okay. Cool. East is this way? Wait, east? That we just came from east of here. Alright, man. We're gonna kill this river drake just because it's here. And then we will go back across the river. Because clearly, I think that's where we're supposed to be. No? Was I supposed to talk to Keith? I don't remember any of this from my first play. Oh, I'm supposed to follow Keith even though I'm the one leading the way. That makes perfect sense. Alright, Keith.
Look out! Our friends are back!
Had more than enough of you.
Field of Fury. You'll be hearing that one for days.
You know what? You know what I would find to be like a little bit disappointing if I were a voice actor. So it's one thing to be a voice actor for a villain that like people love to hate, right? That would be super cool. It's like, who are you? Oh, I'm the voice actor of, you know. I don't think the first Guild Wars, did it even have voice acting? I don't think it did. But you know, like Shiro Tagachi, right? Like, that was a pretty good villain from what I recall. I'm sure that being the voice actor for Shiro would be like a cool thing. But imagine how disappointing it would be to be a voice actor for a character that the studio wanted people to like, but people don't like. Whether it's Kaith or Bram, those are like the two most likely ones. Although there were certainly people who got tired of Timey. I'm included in that. There were people who got tired of Irene. But let's say most notably Bram and Kaith. What a bummer to be the voice actor for them. And to be good at your job and people still dislike you for it because the character is so badly written. Oh, good. More rot pile. Let's try heading up this hill. This hill is not east of where we previously were. I'd just like to point that out. I assume we're going to get another fight right here.
There's someone ahead!
I'll break you down! Wither!
You can come over here, dude?
Time to do some real damage. Feel the fury! I'll break you down! They'll have to hit much harder.
I think we're getting closer. But whatever we're getting closer to, I don't like it in the slightest.
Alright, all kinds of rot piles here. Oh, we don't even get like they're not even gonna bother telling us it's a rot pile. It's evidence. So, all right. So let's go east to the north. Grace by fire. Hey, we remember you.
Wallowing spineless in the filth they create for themselves.
Is this...
A false god!
We heal as
Come
one.
to terrorize a new people.
Ascalon, Kryta, your blight ends here.
Okay, I do quite like that Malice refers to it as a false god, right? Because the Char in in the first Guild Wars worshipped the Titans, right? Or most of them at least. So that's like a nice touch that Malice retains that Char cultural piece. I don't know.
While its lackey takes the heat.
Feel the fury.
You know, if we were to play a Char character, how that would play out, whether or not the Char character actually says something in reference to that as well. I have a couple of Char on my main account, and one on one of my alt accounts, but I don't play a lot of Char, so I would have to put forth considerable effort to find out if that's the case, and I'm not going to redo this instance to find out. So,
Set him up for the kill.
it would be interesting to note. Is there a content creator that primarily plays Char? I can't think of anyone right now, because I think Muck always plays Asura. Does he always play Asura? And I think I saw on Wooden Potatoes playthrough that he was playing a Sylvari, which surprised me.
How's the scout?
We heal as one.
I don't if I, and this is super ticky tack. This is like a stupid complaint. That bear looked real stupid when they did like the whole stranger thing. What was it? Graced by Fire, I think was the name of the bear. That's unfortunate because it, much like Queen Jenna during the first instance, just looking bad. That bear looked real dumb, but real minor complaint, real minor. In fact, probably to the point of being unwelcome.
Malice.
Job's not done yet.
We'll have plenty of time for that. But for her, it's running out. She needs a healer.
Kate's right. We go for help first. Then we talk to the council.
Fine. But this goes beyond just the council. We need to notify the Alliance. And have the bodies identified.
Unless you want one more to identify, let's move.
Once she's safe, I'll contact Krisha. Have her call for an emergency meeting.
Yay. Yay. See, that did not take an hour. Look.
Sweet.
Including the heart and everything, we're at 20 minutes. That was like a 15-minute instance. That is amazing after some of the instances we've done. And some of the time I wasted filling mastery bars and stuff. Alright. Malice, you got more to say? What a fight that was. Hey, I'm with you. What a fight that was. Are you okay?
Is that what I think it was? I'm okay. I'm fine. We don't know for sure. It could have been... maybe... I need to call Krisha.
Okay, do that. In fact, that sounds like actually like a really good idea. In fact, as representatives of your two races, I think you should call your racial leader. I'm gonna call Queen Jenna on my stupid communicator. I mean, I assume it's annoying for her as it is for me. So let's all use the hell out of our communicators. A quick note on the little cutscene there when they introduced the Titan. That like pestilence effect, and they did a really good job of that, where Kaith like reaches up and like grabs the bug and then looks at it, and then suddenly there's like this swarm of pestilence. Was that reused from Joko? Is that the exact same effect that we saw like at one point with Joko? I don't, or during season 4 at some point. I don't remember, but it does look familiar. And it's also interesting because I don't know that up until that moment that we had any like association between like the Titans and pestilence. But it was super cool. I mean, I liked it. I was down. All right, Kaith. Is everyone... Oh, she says, And we say, everyone okay? All right, sure.
I've got my hands full with an injured Coden and a riled Char, but I'm fine. I imagine the Alliance is going to act fast. You should prepare your account of what happened here.
There's part of what I don't like her. I just put my finger on. She consistently talks like she's above everyone else. And in fairness to ArenaNet, that has consistently been part of her character. She continues to do it right here. Interesting. All right. I also can make a whole list of... Yeah, I should do a top 10 video. Top 10 reasons that Kaith is the worst character in Guild Wars 2. Oh, we got a letter. How exciting. I also got a honeyflower. I got to farm the hell out of those things. All right. Oh, what the...
Time to do some real damage.
Alright, so we got a letter from Krisha. The Tyrian Alliance has called an emergency session to address recent reports coming out of Janthir. This threat must be addressed immediately. Please return to Lion's Arch at once. Details to follow. So what, should I expect another bird? Are the details to follow, like, imminently? Like, am I going to be on my way? Like, right as I'm about to step through in a certain portal, like a second bird is going to, like, swoop out of nowhere and hit me in the face? I'm picking on ticky-tack things today. It's not really fair. Alright. Easiest way to get to Lion's Arch is to deny ArenaNet revenue from a VIP pass and go through World vs. World. Oh, that skin. I think that character is wearing the swimsuit skin. I have the swimsuit skin on this account. Unlike my main account, where I've applied it to several characters in various ways. Not just put them in a swimsuit. That seems like such a cop-out, right? But particularly the top I've used on a number of different characters. I haven't used it yet on this account. We could throw it on this character. We could change this character's look up. Can't do the bouncy cat thing yet. Deeply disappointing. Did the music get louder when I turned the dialogue thing up too? It feels like it did. Man, so I thought I had all my volume settings on lockdown, and now that it's clear I do not, I'm going to be worried about it for days. I got a bunch of stuff in my inventory. Oh, speaking of stuff in my inventory, while we were playing through on the previous chapter, I noted that opening the or rather using the sniff skill on the Warclaw to find like hidden treasures, and opening those treasures was important if you're working on the legendary during Janthir Wilds. This is what I was referring to. We got a Mersat runestone that came out of one of those loot bags. And anecdotally, on my main account, they seem to drop relatively often. Now, I'm not saying that like the drop rate is messed up or that like there's a way to take advantage of that, because I assume they are. You can't sell them on the trade. They're going for 67 silver. That's not bad, I guess. So 67 silver also tells me they're dropping with some regularity for everybody. So I guess that's your method for farming that. If that is what you want to work on, as the expansion goes forward. If you plan to work on the legendary, you might want to get on that. What color black have I been using? Midnight Ice. All right. And then illumination. The thing is, this does not look the same in Midnight Ice because that's better. All right. Cool. Looking sharp. All right, let's roll. We're going to show up for this next Alliance meeting, and place will be up in arms. It'll be a scandal. Commander, you want to put on some clothes for your meetings? Nah, man. I'm the commander. I'm the wayfinder. Take this, you. That's so annoying when people do that. Why did I do that? Now I'm that person. I'm ashamed. Super ashamed. What if they were streaming? Oh, now I'm that guy. Hey, Stoic Alder. I see you also have decided to come to this whole shindig.
This is where your alliance congregates.
I hope this isn't overwhelming.
The stories from this trip will make good fodder when I return. Gossip sits in their bellies like a fresh harvest.
You'll get plenty of that. How can I prepare you for the audience?
Honey wine, but we've none to spare. I'll be fine. We've hosted travelers over time, with little more to bargain besides information. I'm not unaware of the world. Just been a long time since we've needed to seek aid from others.
You and I are aligned at least.
Good. After you, Wayfinder.
Alright, I like Stoic Alder. In spite of the fact that his cadence of speech is going to wear me out at some point, I find him likable. And yeah, I mean, how can you not like a dude who's like, gotta go to this meeting, we should drink. It's a very likable trait. That guy salutes, but doesn't stop us this time. Oh look, somebody brought the frogs to the party. Chief Tlatoa and Oh, so we should remember Kanamiatli from Heart of Thorns. Chief Tlatoa. So I wonder if he is the chief. There is a personal story step. I want to say it's level 50? Pretty sure it's level 50. Where you have the option, depending on your race, of helping a Hylek tribe, like right here. In fact, I think their little camp is under here in a cave. And then they also, at one point, you follow them like, holy moly, where is it? Like under here, I think. They like come up through this way and then come through here. or through like that or something, and then they have like a thing, and also they have like some kind of competition over here, depending on your choices you make in that story. This may be the chief from that tribe, but I really don't remember the name. I wonder if can we bring Stoic Alder over here to talk to these. Oh, he is notably larger than them. And honestly, I kind of like the model for that more than that. Although they're good. I've always thought the Kodum were pretty cool. Pretty good character models. But I do kind of like the Grizzly Gad more. But yeah, much bigger. Interesting. And I am not a biologist, but I think are polar bears actually the largest bears? They're Kodiaks. Kodiaks are the largest bears, then polar bears, then grizzlies. I don't know where pandas are on that list. Is this a new thing to read? I don't recall if there are any particular achievements in this. This is Dougal again. In this instance, hey Dougal, I brought a bear. Hanging in there, champ. Hey buddy, hanging in there, champ. Bored, senseless. Can't get anything done with these surprise meetings. Say, do you need a partner? Want to take me on one of your little adventures? I'll leave retirement. Next time. I have a meeting to get to. So it would be kind of fun to take Dougal with us to do things. It does remind me that every now and then, big fans of the first Guild Wars will kind of like go on this. They'll kind of wander off a little bit, in terms of what everyone else is saying, and they'll insist that we should have heroes and henchmen in Guild Wars 2, which I don't understand at all. All of the world in Guild Wars 1 was instanced. So when you went out of Lion's Arch and into whatever map you went to, I don't remember, like D'Alessio Seaboard or something like that, that was instanced. You and your party were the only good guys there. So heroes and henchmen were really quite necessary, unless you were going to expect people to always party with like X number of other people. So they were a necessary solution for a potential problem. That is not the case in Guild Wars 2. I don't know why we would have heroes and henchmen. It's a weird thing. Impact on underwater societies. Quaggan and Largos. We don't see enough Largos, do we? Maybe one of these days. Is there a Largos? Was there a Largos earlier, or is there a Largos here? We got some Skrit here. Skrit King LXXV. What is that? 70. Skrit King 75. Is that 75? I'm like 99% sure it is. And Queen Cricket the 5th. Is she the one that we take her crystals in, like, what is the name of that map? Drytop. Drytop? Like right over, I don't remember where it is now. It's like right here? No, that's Crash Site. Like right over here? Somewhere? We take the Queen's crystals. We take her shinies. I think that's her. Alright, anything else? See? Looks like there's not. I'm trying to make this instance so much longer than it needs to be, right? Super annoying. We got anything else notable? Yeah, look, the orders are represented now. Priory. Javi, who's not, I don't think, directly representing any of the orders. She's from Icebreed Saga. Way up, might remember her from when we were in Bajora Marches, right? I don't remember what her, like, affiliation is, beyond Raven. She's a Raven shaman. Larenthir, presumably representing the Pact. Real. I've always been a real big fan of Real. Representing Order of Whispers. We got Ambassador Siana's been added to the mix from the zombie folks. What are they? The Awakened. Looks like that's about all the additions. And Isgarin is already here this time instead of randomly popping up in the middle of things. Let's get started.
All members are present. Welcome, leadership from the Pact. Finally. The room is getting fuller by the day. We can begin.
We thank the Council for their discretion and speed. Your summons said as much, but recent developments are troublesome.
Are the Cryptus back? Are they not so contained?
A different threat. Warden Frode, your report?
A Titan has been sighted in Janthir. A few of my Astral Ward in the area got a good look after it fled into the bay.
A Titan? I've certainly read of them. The burning of Ascalon. The door of Komali. Stories filled with deception. Are you sure?
Yes. Multiple first-hand accounts of a giant insectile beast. The Ward is gathering all the readings we can.
Our records are likely dated, mind you. And this one may be more evolved than the hive we've encountered before.
Luckily, the commander was in the right place at the right time. Witnessed the attack alongside Kaith and impaired her malice.
Oh yeah, well, that's convenient.
Counselor.
It's all true. While working with the Astral Warden Janthir, we encountered the Coden of Harvest Den. We sought to establish diplomatic bonds with them on behalf of Queen Jenna when the Titan attacked. Its spawn kept us busy while it fled into the bay, smart enough to avoid a fight. But my experience is limited. Today I've brought Stoic Alder, the Claw of the Lowland Coden, to share his.
Oh, I have to move so that he can talk.
We noticed a change 3 seasons ago. The wildlife reacted first. They fled south. Bearkin went missing. We kept our suspicions level. It could have been any great creature. Janthir is fierce. But then, the land started to sour. I assumed it was your cryptis. But those ones attacked our mines, not the grasslands. This is a very different beast. My bearkin have lived in Janthir longer than your cities have stood tall. We know danger well. We respect its boundaries. But this being mats my fur. Whatever a Titan is, whatever this creature seeks, we should be cautious. The fact that he's taken refuge near the ruins of Bavanissos paints an uncertainty that we shouldn't allow to brew.
Alright, thank you, Stoic Alder, for your stoic alderisms.
How many are there? One, you say?
That we've confirmed. He fled to the north while his spawn kept us distracted. Even the little one was nasty.
Titans are not solitary. We'd know if there were 20. But I'd expect at least 2, maybe 6. And I don't count their spawn.
What does the Astral Ward advise? This feels like the definition of your expertise.
I'd like to hear that too.
The Astral Ward should offer the Scepter of Ore. Lady Livia, do I want to know what happened to the poor guards stationed at the door?
I haven't protected that thing for a century and a half for it to collect dust and foul memories. Lost to time, I thought. You have the scepter?
We do. The lady surrendered it not long ago. Safer in my reserves than a velvet crypt beneath divinity's reach.
You know it's a good idea, Iskarin.
I don't know this legend. What is this Scepter of Ore? A weapon?
Legavo. Cast from raw magic by the seers. It was made to control beasts from the mists.
A solution perfectly sculpted to our problem. The answer is dropped into our laps.
The scepter should remain dormant.
And why's that, Your Majesty?
Pick a legend. That is a history caked in blood. All of its wielders have met some ill-carved fate.
Besides myself, of course. And she looks great.
Until we know what we're dealing with, I'd sooner pick up a sword again than leave our fate to archaic mysticism.
Stubborn as Linus. Your mother would be horrified.
Enough! Are we walking on coals? Queen Jenna, if you don't see this as feasible, what do you propose?
The scepter is an extreme solution to a fresh problem. We should send the commander back to Janthir to learn more.
I agree with the Queen. We don't know nearly enough about the threat at hand, or how useful the scepter would be here.
Well, I think we should get it over with and just try the damn thing. What are we risking here?
This creature is closer to my borders than yours. And Stoic Alder's Coden are even closer. Harming our people is the risk.
Letting this thing roam about is just as dangerous to them.
Perhaps. But the scepter could do much worse. We are simply at an impasse.
Then what do we do?
We vote on it.
It's a sound motion. We did form the Alliance for a reason.
Someone will be disappointed with the decision. Or dead.
Ideally, these Titans, and not us.
The Queen is right. I don't think everyone is going to agree.
And so we vote. Take some time to think. When everyone is prepared to make their decisions and has returned to their places, we'll begin.
Alrighty. So hopefully this isn't NATO, where it has to be unanimous. Apparently it's not going to be unanimous. They're already anticipating it not being unanimous. So now we're going to talk with all these different folks, and I guess, are we trying to persuade them to vote a certain way? Or are we just kind of scoping out what they got going on? And by the way, Livia, so what did she do with the guards? Are the guards okay? Can we check on them? Oh, look at that. Attention to detail. She dazed the guards. Although he's not actually suffering a condition. But they gave him a little animation there. What about this guy? Not dazed. Man, your mask is like so extra. Okay. So first of all, Livia's the one person who doesn't have the quest marker. She has the optional marker. Let's chat with Livia. Wayfinder. They did such a fantastic job on Livia's new, of taking her Guild Wars 1 persona and translating it into a Guild Wars 2 avatar here. And they created this, what are they called? Outfits? What do they call them? Outfits, right? Yeah. Oh, wait, do we have the same one? We do. Hey, we could be twinsies with Livia. We're better looking right now, though. But they did a fantastic job with Livia. I really do think so. So she is, of course, really, really old. She was around in the first Guild Wars. And it is the Scepter of Ore that kept her that way. So if you're going to introduce like super powerful relics into the lore and so forth, then you really need to lean into that and just make it a world of like super powerful things that we don't all fully understand. And I actually think they're doing a decent job of that here. Because you can't just like have like a world where like everything's pretty balanced and like the most powerful thing previously was like maybe Joker or something, but then we got the Scepter of Ore and it's like crazy, way more powerful than everything else. Because you find yourself, much like Guild Wars has struggled with over the last 13 years, where it's constant state of one-upping, and it's really damaging to the story, and it doesn't feel good for the players. And that can happen with characters. It can happen with the main character as a hero. It can happen with villains, and it can of course happen with items. Almost like a lore gear treadmill. We don't want that, right? But here they're doing a pretty good job of framing it. So Queen Jenna could have looked like a really weak character if she's like, we shouldn't use it. And they're like, well, why? And she's like, well, because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, that would have looked like a very weak character. I think they did a pretty good job of giving her dialogue that frames it when she says that it's a drastic solution to a fresh problem. Like, that is a really, really good way of packaging the idea that maybe we need to show some restraint and give consideration. It's like, oh, we've never used nukes before. We should use them to end this war. Like, in hindsight, maybe we shouldn't have used nukes to end the war. All right, Wayfinder, having fun. Can you tell me more about the scepter? Yeah, so let's know a little bit more about this thing, right? What do you want to know? Why is the scepter so dangerous to use?
The Seers are frustrating collaborators, not overly fond of sharing. You saw how specific and arcane the Shining Blade was. Legavo is similarly complex. It tests the will of its user, judges their intent. If the user is found wanting, Well, those names have long been lost to time and memory.
Okay. Legavo. Wasn't there something already in the game with a similar... I guess not. I thought there was a weapon with a very similar name, but apparently not. All right. And by the way, I like how she's like, those, it judges its user. Those found wanting. That's a very convenient thing for the person who has successfully held it for under 50 years to say. It's like, well, you got to be good enough. With, of course, the implication that she was apparently good enough. All right. Yeah, so let's ask that question. I like that. The question is here. How are you able to wield the scepter?
Isn't it obvious? It saw my intent to bring the White Mantle and their Mursat overlords to ruin for their abuse of the Bloodstones. The sacrifices, King Jaden's death. Ignore me. Musings from long ago. It offered me vengeance. I sent many enemies of Kryta to their oblivion. Probably liked the blood. It was fortunate that Isgarin and I crossed paths when we did, though. Even I have limits. As for you, well, you don't lack for will. Even death couldn't stop you. I wouldn't bet against you.
Yeah, so she is really supremely arrogant, isn't she? By the way, which is okay. It's like she wears it better than some other characters, Kate, for example. I really hope we don't use the Scepter of War. Just throwing that out there as it just occurred to me because she said that, oh, like I bet you could probably use it. I really, really hope that is not the route they go. That would be disappointing. All right. Why do you think the Scepter would be helpful here? Yeah, so she introduced the topic. She's advocating for its use.
Before those unfortunate bandits, and then myself, its prior wielder was, let's just say, a little problematic. Vizier Kilbron. He was responsible for sinking ore. I'm sure you've heard that particular story many times. While the Scepter wasn't responsible for the cataclysm, it was a very dense situation. Whenever a god is involved, and especially a fiendish one at that, certain cultural anxieties come to light. I don't suggest it lightly, but it was cast to control creatures from the mists. Kilbron used it to control the Titans. There is risk, certainly. We don't know how well it works, or if it does anymore. But we should try. So,
essentially, she is saying that the precedent that we should base our decision on is Kilbron. And she acknowledges that's like a really bad precedent. And I'm inclined to agree it's a really bad precedent, which I guess is why we are saying there should be options. Dagonet. What's up, buddy? What must our new Kodan ally think of us, watching us bicker like saplings? They are an old race, deriving wisdom from thousands of years of history. We should stand together, not brawl. I guess like I don't particularly care about any of these choices. We again have kind of the like personality system here. That wisdom will tell them to be cautious. We shouldn't risk anything. All right, so I'm going to try and talk these folks out of using the scepter. I'm not a fan of the idea, to be quite frank. I must stand by my decision, Commander. Think on yours.
I don't know, Commander. I'm prone to agree with the Queen's hesitation. We know so little.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We're saying the same thing, Dagonet. What are we? Did my choice not mean what I thought it meant? Chief Counselor Amon. Dragons, rogue gods, plagues, a lich? Why not the return of the Titans? Your people are survivors, and now we need to help the Kodans survive. Now, wait a minute. It almost seems like all three of these choices point to using the scepter. Is the commander forced to argue in favor of using the scepter? I don't like that. Well, whatever. We need to help the Kodans survive. Perhaps, but none of those problems had easy solutions either. If only they had. Yeah, I was there.
When Queen Jenna invited me to the Alliance, I didn't think things would spice up so quickly. Ilona has a long history with events such as this. I know my response. Think on yours.
Now, what's interesting is there was a point in time when we interacted with this counselor, Counselor Iman, and we got to make a decision where the game actually allowed us to make a decision, and the decision mattered later in the story. And I thought that was super, super cool. And it doesn't look like they're going to do that here. That's a shame. All right. Isgarin, Frode, hey, what are your thoughts on this whole scepter thing? I'm starting to regret my decision to open up the ward to the world. Our hands are tied, and half these delegates are voting on things they know nothing about. Yeah, that is the nature of democracy. Is most people who have a vote are too stupid to use it properly. That is one of the downsides to the system. Probably still a better system than most others. It's enough that the ward is joining the fight this time. That's pretty good. Am I going to end up picking this response every time? I feel like that's the way it's going to go. We have things far worse than the scepter locked away. If they are afraid of it, I doubt they're ready to learn the real truth of the world. I believe that. And again, I like that if we're going to make this scepter like a super powerful thing, that we just lean into that and create a world of super powerful relics. And apparently Isgarin currently holds a whole bunch of them. Cool, man. I like it.
I don't disagree with caution. The risk is critical in dire moments. But I will abide by their decision. Historically, if the ward needed to take action, we simply took it. I must wait now. I don't want to regret this.
So what if Isgarin completely pulled back and was like, hey, you know what? Cooperating with y'all, it's not working. Y'all are stupid, and I know what the right decision is, and the Astral War is just going to do it. That would look a lot like Balthazar, and so I suppose we would go fight him. Right? Like, that's the precedent set in Guild Wars 2. If Isgarin was like, the races are not ready, and the Astral Ward is going to handle this on its own, I think, we would go fight the Astral Ward. That is how Guild Wars 2 story is consistently written. So we'll come back over here with Livia and hang out with the Queen and Anise and talk to them. Commander, you have seen the consequences of rash actions. Using the scepter is a mistake. Anything the White Mantle has touched should never be trusted. That's a pretty good observation. Like what you did when Branded were at the Gate of Ebonhawk, that must be a reference to the books, and I don't know what she did when Branded were at the Gates of Ebonhawk. I am curious what that is. But we're going to say you're right. Caution is going to be critical moving forward. The Titans have not yet pushed onto the mainland. We have time. I agree.
I wish they could understand that what seems like an easy solution is often muddied with complication. But the final call is not mine. It can't be if we seek genuine unity. But whatever is chosen, we will live with it.
And he seems really chill about this whole thing. They all have... So, last video, I was talking about our alts in the homestead, not doing anything at all. Why can't they just do this? Why can't they just... Anise and Livia here are just standing there doing the talk emote. Why can't they just do that? I don't think it's that hard. And so is everyone else for that matter. Here's Bram and Scardy doing the same thing. Scardy, dog, what's up? Ludo may be a blowhard, but that doesn't mean she is wrong. Fair. We should not let the risk of what the scepter could do eclipse what we know the Titans are doing. Not wrong doesn't make you right. So one of the most important things that I've taught my kid is two things can be right at the same time. And this is a good example. He is right, but caution might also be right. The scepter is dangerous, though. We know that, Scardy. Another day, another crisis. Let's hope caution does not prevent the proper response. We'll see.
I hear everyone's concerns, but between us, I don't know. We've endured so much pain already. Can you blame anyone for wanting to end things quickly?
Kinda speaking from experience here, but leaning on ancient magic isn't worth the cost.
Yes, so our reminder that Bram became a dragon minion and killed a whole bunch of people. And apparently we're all past that now. To the point where he can comfortably discuss it in social settings. Thanks, Bram. You're out, bound and determined to prove Muckluck right. All right, Krisha, what are your thoughts? If Ritlock was here, he wouldn't hesitate to use the scepter. He'd dive in without a thought, just like before, and suffer the consequences after. Correct. And as you'll recall, him diving in without a thought and suffering the consequences after is what actually set Balthazar free in the first place. So there is that, Krisha. Is she like, what, is she a big fan of her ex-husband? So do whatever Ritlock wouldn't do, is that what you're saying? I've made my decision, Commander. Let's hope it's
Lot
right.
to consider, but I think I know my stance. We'll see how this resolves.
Yeah, we will, because we're about to vote as soon as I'm done talking to people and running my mouth. Councilor Ludo. Fools, surrounded by fools. Magic, like anything, is a tool. We would not misuse the scepter. Well, I mean, historically, the Asura have misused a great many things. You know what? We don't even want to talk. Diplomacy means accepting the decision regardless. We're not even going to try and rationalize with her. We already know how she's going to vote, you know? She's like Orban. Like, we know how Hungary's going to vote. There's no point in talking to Viktor Orban. Like, he's a fat ass. Like, just leave him alone. Just encourage him to accept the decision.
You know my take. If we have a solution, we should use it. If the Astral Ward is so powerful, they owe us a demonstration.
So that's not, in fairness to Viktor Orban over here, the idea of a demonstration is not a terrible, terrible idea. You know, can we test drive what are the consequences of test driving the scepter? It's a valid question. Empress, why have I saved you for last? Because you're wisest, that's why. I never thought I'd say it, but dealing with June is easier than dealing with this. Canthans are not afraid of taking risk, but Jenna is right. Risk without thought leads to tragedy. So why are the two human leaders like the two kind of wisest ones in the room? Is that a coincidence? Is that they want the humans to resonate with human players? If I were a Char player of Guild Wars 2, would the Char like resonate more with me? Look, this top one is like us trying to convince her to use and we're really leaning deep into like the, man, we're really digging that crowbar in there. Yeah, here we're also trying to persuade her to use the scepter. I feel like most of the options are us persuading someone to use the scepter, and yet some aren't. It's very scattered. It's not consistent. I don't disagree. I don't know if we can calculate that risk yet. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Cantha has had enough tragedy, Commander. I know what I have to do. I agree.
Thankfully, Cantha had not yet closed its borders before the events Dagonet described. I've read of the Titans, and I've read of all that connected them. Abaddon, Shiro. It feels too complicated to make a sudden choice.
Agree.
I'd advise caution, but I see it in your eyes already.
Yeah, no, we all appear to be in agreements here. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm the center of attention, real quick. Yeah, so interesting. Going all the way back to when Dagonet talked about like Dora Kamali and stuff. Why did he describe like it's almost like he doesn't believe any of that? But in terms of lore, it's you know it's unquestionable because it was part of the gameplay in Guild Wars 1, right? So we know it unquestionably, us as the player. But apparently Dagonet treats it as like something of a myth or a legend, or maybe that it's exaggerated or something. I don't know.
The last delegate has returned to their podium. It is time. All in favor of utilizing the Scepter of Ore to combat the Titan threat, say yay. And those who oppose, preferring the commander return to Janthir to conduct further research, nay.
We're all so shy. I'll start. Nay. Nay.
Yay.
Yay.
A firm nay.
Nay. Krisha.
Yay.
Nay.
So you can actually see a couple of interesting observations here. One, with what the Queen says, where she describes the second choice. All those in favor of utilizing the Scepter of Ore say yay. All those who oppose, preferring the commander return to Janthir to conduct further research. So unfortunately, and I don't think it's like bad writing at all. It's just coincidentally, or as it turns out, the way they wrote that makes it very clear how the vote is going to go. It almost, even on my first playthrough, like spoiled a tiny bit because I'm like, oh, well, obviously that's the rest of this release, so we know that like there's no question now. I'm going to go back to Janthir and conduct research, obviously. And at that point, the vote kind of became almost uninteresting to me, which is a little bit too bad. Again, I don't think it's bad writing. It's just the way it worked out. And then a couple of other interesting little things here. I don't know why Queen Jenna has to be that person to say more than yay or nay. She's got to like make a little thing, a firm nay. Yeah, we already know where you stand, Jenna. Like just cast your vote. Like that was unnecessary. It's not endearing to anyone else in the room. And then it was interesting that Malice questioned Krisha's vote. Like it was a surprise to Malice. I found that to be interesting. Also, by the way, let's count the votes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nays to 1, 2, 3 yays at this point. Which means even if we vote, I actually don't remember if we do or not, but even if we do, it's irrelevant. The vote's already decided. So we do get to vote. Well, I'm going to vote nay because I'll have to do another playthrough on another account where I vote yay just to see if anything happens. But again, the vote's decided. It's 5-3 at this point.
Nay, and we will not be using the scepter. More research is critical before we make such a call.
And when we do need the scepter, are we voting again?
We very well might, Counselor. For now, we are investigating the threat. If more action is needed, we will approach that. Imperator Malice, Kaith, and the Commander will return to Janthir with Stoic Alder immediately. Learn all you're able.
Stoic Alder, do your people have a secure route into the Isles? If Isgarin is correct...
And I am.
Then we should expect the worst. At least one Titan has returned to Tyria.
I've sent scouts to map the ruins before. We can approach from the south, take the river inland, and establish camps. These things threaten my home, my son. My spear will aid this alliance.
Adjourned.
Good talk, everyone. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so much more talking. I thought we were done. I was just about to say, well, it's been an hour. Take a break. Go to the next video. No, we have all this talking left to do. All right, Kaith, what are your thoughts? Oh, let's wait for the Empress to get over here in case she has input on this as well. All right, Kaith, what are your thoughts?
What was it like? Horrifying. We've faced many threats, big ones, but this time felt different. I don't want to catastrophize and call it an omen, but this creature escaping or entering from the mists is a scary concept.
You're not catastrophizing. Things that used to be rare suddenly feel like a routine season.
He used the word season. Unrelated, but a note I forgot to make much earlier. When Stoic Alder gave his speech, he specifically noted that he believed, based on like environmental changes and so forth, that the Titans arrived 3 seasons ago. And I don't know if that's meant to be 9 months or if it's meant to be 3 years. I actually speculate that what he means by 3 seasons is 3 years ago. And would that align with the launch of End of Dragons and thus the end of Suwon? Which is only reinforces what Isgarin's been saying about Suwon's departure, like dropping the veil from this world or whatever. That seems... I think that timing is about right. So what, like late summer, early fall of 2021? Is that about when End of Dragons launched? I think it is. I don't know. I could look it up, but I'm not going to because I'm playing right now. All right. Krisha, what's up?
Imperator, I would watch your tone. Anyone but me might disapprove.
My tone? My tone is fine. It's your logic that isn't. This is a Titan we're dealing with. What they did to our people.
Awful. And the things they made us do were worse. But that doesn't mean we should turn to some cursed wand. I hear your opinion. I agree. But you're Ash. Collecting data and understanding every corner is how you rose to Imperator. So, are you level-headed enough to return to the field? Yes. Are you sure? Yes.
I think that's a good conversation. I think that's good writing. To be honest. Am I off base? I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. Better than a lot of stuff they do. Alright, Counselor Mon.
Any strong feelings about the vote, you two?
I'm happy with the result. When we're dealing with gods, or creatures that pretend to be gods, caution must be observed. Maybe they want us to make the obvious choice. There's no way to know until we do our research.
It's certainly not my place. I'm just the royal messenger to the Dominion's great house, after all.
Just the royal messenger. She is very modest.
But I can see both sides. I see the want to dissolve the problem swiftly, and I also see the need to be patient.
Politics can be very delicate indeed. And knowing the song behind your opposition's march is critical in informing your own.
Sure don't envy you two. I just hope this gets cleaned up before anyone else gets hurt.
So, did the Dominion send Caladris without any authority to actually do anything? Did she vote? I'm going to go back and look real quick. I don't think she voted. Empress Ian, Counselor Amon, Isgarin, Counselor Ludo, Queen Jenna, Krisha, Scardy, Dagonet, and the Commander. She didn't get a vote. And I wonder... Now, of course, a lot of people in here didn't get a vote, right? But just the same. Including, notably, the Line Guard not get a vote. Commodore Mariner and Ellen did not vote. Ayumi did not. Well, I guess Ayumi falls under the vote of Empress. None of the orders had input. Counselor Ludo, you seem to be talking to a window.
Silly decision. One more bad report for the Arcane Council. I'll be fine. Just fuming. Move along.
Okay. If you like Asura, I think probably you like Counselor Ludo. Is that safe to say? She is, like she's very Asuran. They wrote her very consistent with Asuran things. Bram has something to say about it.
Well, I can't argue with the majority. Their suspicions must be warranted. I just don't want more destruction.
Neither do I, brother.
The Norn are interesting, and maybe we don't give it enough credit because they do so little with Norn culture in the game. Because they have this side where they're like constantly like, you know, they're warriors and they love to hunt and they love to battle, or at least they love to brawl. But they also seem to want to be like super chill. Like they never really want the stakes to be that high. They just want to like slap each other around and then get drunk, or get drunk and then slap each other around, or yes to both at the same time. I don't know. We almost, a couple times, I thought we were going to get a whole bunch more Norn lore, and then it really was about other things. Queen Jenna, you got anything you want to say?
I wouldn't have advised that call, my queen. I think there's a better option. A smarter option.
It's good you're not her advisor, then.
This is why I don't keep both of you on my shoulder at the same time. Agree to disagree, Lady Livia. You are welcome to express your opinion, but I do not share it.
I wonder how much influence Livia actually has. Is that like a valid question? I feel like it's a valid question. Isgarin.
Just one more confirmation of how great I am.
You're trying to prove a point in our participation here.
If we weren't in this alliance, the Titans would be taken care of.
That the Astral Ward does not make quick decisions. We think things through. And you don't know that. We have so few members now. The Spire may be irreparable. And you are tired, my friend. We all need each other. Tyria isn't safe from the mists anymore.
Okay, I think Frode gives us some interesting stuff here. I genuinely. Because Isgarin seems to very much continue to present the Astral Ward is like an unstoppable, super powerful organization, and he seems to be of the opinion that if everyone else here was like, we'll just let the Ward take care of it, that he would just go out there with the Scepter of War and kind of wave it around, and all the Titans would like run to the hills or whatever, and everything would be good. But Frode is very much an insider to this organization. He's pointing out things that I don't know that we necessarily knew concretely before this. There's obviously we know a lot of Astral Ward were lost in the battle with the Cryptus. They put forth effort to try and show us that in Soda. The problem was, those last few releases of Soda were relatively weak, and some of that stuff wasn't communicated as effectively as it could be, or we just disliked that map so much that we spent as little time there as possible. But they did show us some of these kind of things, and they did make reference to the fact that the World Spire was jacked up. In fact, remember, we have to fight our way back into the Wizard's Tower because it's like malfunctioning, and that's during the like the core Soto story from the initial release, right? So we know these things are true, but Frode really reinforces them as persistent problems here, not just temporary plot devices for the Secret of the Obscure release. And so I think that's a very useful thing for us to get from Frode. All right, Stoic Alder. So we've heard all these people and their opinions. What are your thoughts?
Welcome to Tyrian politics.
I don't envy your status, Wayfinder. My mate was the Globetrotter. I prefer the personal politics of the village council. The Isles should make us nervous. The lowlands are familiar, but we never stay long. If you haven't heard my warnings yet...
Starting to get a good idea.
Remain honest, and we'll wash our paws of this. We meet in Janthir.
Okie dokie. Looking forward to it. Travel to Harvest Den. Will do. Should we travel to Harvest Den now, or should we wrap it right here? We didn't get the little swords thingy. We might as well travel to Harvest Den real quick. So what's the quickest way to get to Harvest Den? Through our homestead. I've not done anything yet with the homestead on this account, by the way. I have started some more work on the homestead on my main account, but I am like nowhere near having completed a masterpiece. I cleared a whole bunch of decorations, and started kind of playing around. I constructed a couple and started playing around with the idea. I can't find, however, and I'm really disappointed by it. It looks like they're going to add more as time goes on. Right now, I don't see a better wall than this one, and I kind of don't like this one. I mean, look, it's like at its highest point. This is the shortest human model. This is the shortest human female model. So, assuming that the world of Tyria, is, like even within its shortest and highest are within like relative norms. So she's like somewhere between like, let's say 4'11" and 5'2" or something like that. Let's say she's relatively short, but not like abnormally short. Or I don't mean to disrespect anyone by that, but you get the idea, right? What I'm saying. This wall at its highest point is what, 6'4" maybe, and at its lowest point is 4 foot tall. That doesn't feel very tall. I wanted like a 9-foot wall, straight up. I wanted a wall that's as tall as these pillars, and I wanted pillars that are twice as tall as these pillars. And right now, it doesn't look like there are any available. But I got more research to do. I got more work to do. This playthrough is obviously taken away from my time in my homestead main account, but I'd like to, once I started doing this series, I really wanted to continue. I wanted to keep it going indefinitely. I think my viewership is about 2 people per video right now, and I happen to know who one of them is. I assume the other one is someone whose phone accidentally autoplayed when they opened up YouTube. Be that as it may, I want to keep the series going, so we will just keep plugging along. All right. We don't have Bouncy Cat yet, so we're going to have to fly across here. Actually, the fastest way to do this, probably, truthfully, would have been the waypoint. I mean, it would have only been like... In fact, you know what? We're still going to do that. Now, of course, my viewership would have been much higher if, you could hear the audio. Oh, how exciting, the dance-off. Should we jump into the dance-off real quick?
Fine partner you'll make.
Is it spinning time? It's spinning time. Oh, what is it now? It's, he looks like he's bowling. Is that this one? No, it's not that one. It's this one. Yeah, nailed it. Alright, now what are we doing? Oh, now we're doing like a little shimmy thing. A sidestep? Is that what it's called? Killed it. Now what? Sidestep again? Hey, I don't have my options. Where are my options? I don't have my dancing options. Oh, what the heck, man? I still don't have my dancing options. There they are. Reach for the stars.
Feel the fury.
What was that? The shuffle? The bouncer? Is that the bounce? I can't see what I'm doing, so I don't know if I'm doing the right one or not. I'm not. It's that one. Is this bee's knee? Apparently that one's bee's knees.
You dance with poise, but our finale has arrived.
Oh my gosh, this has 6.5 minutes left. Alright, hey, real talk, we're not going to do this for 6.5 minutes. Unfortunate. Alright, Poizdero. What's up, man?
You're back. We need to reach the northern shore. Yesterday, no time to pack.
Calm down. Walk me through it.
Fading Aurora. She left the village. We have to go after her. She won't survive a day on the Isles by herself.
She went to the Isles. Why?
I don't know. She didn't say exactly. When Pa returned, he told the council about your meeting. The Titans.
Did he go with her?
No. He's with the council now. She left on her own. I'll bet you my best skipping stone that she went after the stranger. I'm going after her too.
We should tell your father. See if we can rally a few spears.
I'm not asking for his permission, and I don't need you to lead the way. I'm heading to the North Shore. I'll take a boat into the Isles and see if I can catch up to her. You're not obligated to join me, but I won't turn you away.
Don't make me regret this.
You'd think the commander would be pretty familiar with this. After all, someone with Bram's voice is doing Bram things. So you'd think, you know, that would feel real familiar to the commander. And that is the part that has kind of turned a lot of people off, is that not that they reused Bram's voice actor. I mean, again, presumably the guy's like skilled, right? No reason to be unhappy with that. But when they use it for a character that behaves so similarly, and thus you get like similar dialogue and similar tone of voice and stuff like that, when you get that, then players get a sense of deja vu. And why would you want that? Why would you want the players to get a sense of deja vu at all, but particularly if it's, you know, regarding a character they didn't necessarily like in the past? And yet, that's what happened there. Okay, so let's take a break right here. We're going to wrap the video here, and then we will pick it up with the next one after I take a little break. So where are we at? Well, we have identified the threat. The threat is Titans. And we told the Tyrian Alliance about it, and they're like, hey, we should do a thing. Why should we do this thing? Because Livia has said that the Scepter of War is the solution to our problems. However, there are folks who disagree. And I, for one, disagree. I don't know, you know, what the rest of the expansion holds, so we'll see what happens. But that was a possible solution. The Alliance was split on it. They voted, and the vote was for the commander to come back and do some more research. So the commander is now wearing less clothing than ever so that she can go into a very dangerous area wearing very little and try and find out. But she's not going there alone, because this bear is like, oh my gosh. Fading Aurora, who you may remember was the shaman, the healer in the village, ran off to the north. Where did she go? Up here somewhere. And so we are going to go up there not only to find out what the Titans got going on, but to try to find Fading Aurora and keep Poizdero from having some sort of disaster take place. So all that when we come back next time, plus more Scantily Clad Commander. Thank you, and have a good one.